I basically lost everything I thought I gained and I was left with $450. I basically entered at a local top and I entered after a scam. I couldn't even get the help from my parents at that time or anyone. We weren't always in the best place. I went through about 3 times where I completely wiped my accounts from building it. And even though I keep losing it all, like the fact that I could do it was incredible. If I never had those hard drops, I would not survive with money now.
That is an insane story. Hello, Bitget fam. Welcome to another episode on the Chain Gang. My name is CH, and I'll be your host today. We have a very special episode planned for you guys, and today we're talking all about crypto trading. Now, I know that no matter if you are a beginner or an expert, you're going to have some really good takeaways from today's conversation. So without further ado, I want to bring our guest on. His name is Sheldon the Sniper. Sheldon is an educator, a successful crypto trader, and a YouTuber. He's a part of the team over at Crypto Banter, which of course is the world's #1 crypto streaming channel on YouTube. Really excited to have him here. I've been following their content for a while, and I got to say, always quality stuff. Sheldon, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, bro? How's it going?
Fantastic. We're really excited to have you here, man.
I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, before we begin, I just wanted to say, Sheldon, I want to acknowledge you for all of your hard work that you've done for yourself and the community. I know that you've started a trading school and you've changed a lot of people's lives. I've been keeping tabs, and I know that you come up from a very, very humble beginning and you've transformed your own life because of crypto. And now you're helping a lot of people do the same. So huge respect. Hats off to you. Even though I never met you, I feel like I already know you from your content.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. I think crypto is a cool place. I think it's a scary place, but I think it's incredible the way it brings people together. And for me, it's one job. I managed to kind of get it right in the last 3 years and really make a good success. But I think the easiest way is just to share my journey and share as I'm learning the road. I wanted to be that normal person that came in and just share what happens and basically try to be as open as possible throughout the whole journey. And I think that's what people are appreciating a lot, is just to see how a normal person can actually make their life change in this space. My biggest gift back to crypto is to share my journey and to teach. I love teaching. I don't think anyone should be listening to anyone. Ultimately, we just want everyone to look after themselves. For the first time, you're in control of your own money. You are the boss, you are in charge. And I just want to help you with the foundations that you can look after yourself and create a beautiful life, as crypto's managed to happen for me. So truly grateful. Thank you for having me here.
That's fantastic. I think that is the best approach you can have. It's really amazing that you're coming on all the time. I know you're streaming that's pretty much daily. You're bringing immense value to all these different people. And just want to say hats off to you, man. Going off of that, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Perhaps you can share with us a little bit of your background, your experience, and really your expertise in crypto and all the trading you've been doing.
Amazing. So I started crypto around about 3 years ago. I've been at Crypto Banter for around about 2 years as well. So the first time I ever heard about Bitcoin was about 3 years ago. And I actually ended up entering crypto firstly at local top, as what many people do enter the market. Don't feel different out there. If you entered the top and you went through a lot of losses in the beginning, just know that that's your welcome to crypto. Crypto does that naturally. But I basically entered at a local top, and I entered after a scam. So I got into this coin, which I thought was amazing. It sort of sucked me in. It had a little bit of affiliate system to it. And I ended up selling a lot of my previous small business that I owned. So I was a carpenter around about 3.5 years ago. I'll be fixing people's kitchens and I'll be doing plumbing and a lot of handyman work, really working hard with the hands. And when I had this opportunity, I thought this was incredible. Now, firstly, we didn't have the best financial upbringing, if you want to say. We did struggle for quite a bit and we weren't always in the best neighborhoods and things like that. So as soon as this thing came along, I was like, this is something that I can help my family. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Help my mother. She always worked her butt off for us. Help my dad. He always struggled quite a bit as well. And to get my family sorted. So as soon as this thing started to work and I started to actually get some money, so I sold the vehicle that I had. I sold the little business, not the whole business. I never had time for that, but I sold the tools and all my equipment that I had inside. And I entered into the scam. And it worked well for probably 3 to 4 months. And then the one day the exchange just froze. And I remember, I think it was about 2 weeks before the exchange froze, I actually needed to bring some money out. And I brought I think it was around about $460. And that was sitting in my local exchange. And that other exchange shut down completely, and I was not able to access anything. So I not only lost the money that I invested, but I basically lost everything I thought I gained, and I was left with $450. I now had no vehicle. I now had no job. I now had no tools. And I just took on a house to rent at the time. So I had a little bit of overheads. For example, I had around about $1,000 to $1,200 overheads every month, and I only had $460 to my name, which was really hard. So I couldn't even get the help from my parents at that time or anyone. We weren't always in the best place. And I was left with my little laptop. And the laptop was quite a funny coincidence because I never had a computer and I'd use a lot of it on my phone. And one day I helped someone just buy Bitcoin. And to say thank you, they bought me this little laptop. So when that day came, I was left with this little laptop and I was left with $460. And I basically just downloaded TradingView and I started just monitoring. And I did technical drawing in school. So when I started to see these charts, I started to like see how these things would like sort of form these trends. And, you know, I would watch a lot of YouTubers, but when I watched the YouTubers, they were extremely complicated. And I was like, do I have to seriously be a genius to understand this? This looks really hard. I need to make money now. And so I ended up not watching any more YouTubers and actually not watching anyone. I even started forming my own terminology where I used to call like roofs and ceilings and like these things that don't exist in technical analysis is what I called them. But I would basically track tokens that would just give me a very clear trend. And I used to do drawing in school and I would see that, whoa, but this thing is doing something in the same. And as soon as it breaks that, all of a sudden it moves. And I managed to build a little strategy where I started sort of getting okay over 3-4 months. And then I got introduced to leverage and I started getting addicted to leverage. I went through big depressions. I ended up even getting my account to $40,000 the one day. And I'll tell you a quick story. In that time, I was actually helping a very small group of people, trying to help them with trading and stuff like that as I was learning. And the one day they were like, can you jump on and can you show us your accounts and just show us something on your exchange? And I jumped on and I had a small high leverage position. And I had my savings account, which is around about $40,000. I want to show them how to use a spot wallet, but I don't want to show them my money. So what I ended up doing is I ended up taking the money and putting it in the leverage account. Now, not knowing that it was on 20x leverage and it was on cross, which means it can attach, like if something happens to the trade, it can't touch your money. And I forgot it there that night. And the next morning, I was driving to actually go meet some friends, some of my trading buddies for lunch. I still remember it was like I think it was a $7,000 dump from Bitcoin in one day. And I got this message that I've been liquidated. And I was like, okay, cool. It was just that little trading account until the penny dropped. That's all of your money. And I basically lost it all overnight again. And I think I went through about 3 times where I completely wiped my accounts from building it throughout that time, which is absolutely crazy. And the reason why I'm just telling you this, because I want you to all know that this is a very wild ride. And us sitting and teaching every day, I'm just trying to help you prevent the serious hurts that I caused myself in that time. But it was also incredible. It was something where I really take the responsibility that I am my boss now. And if I don't set structures and simple rule systems and things in play, I'm the only one to blame. And it's basically really put me in this level that firstly, I was happy that I could achieve it. And I've achieved that amount of money from $400 to $40,000. I've achieved it, 2-3 times. And even though I keep losing it all, like the fact that I could do it was incredible. And then it just started this beautiful run. And after that, I lost my father to suicide, which was really hard for me. It sent me down a spiral that could really send me in a bad place because I was at that point where if I continued for 2-3 months, I wanted to buy him. He always wanted a little car shop, something where he could sell his cars. The man deserved a chance. He grew up in orphanages and these things. So I was just like really upset when that happened. And I ended up leaving the city. Now, one thing that I loved about crypto was that I would never have to touch my money if I could learn to spend as I go. So, for example, if I knew that I could stay in a 2-night hotel for $100, if I could trade that $100, I could go stay in the hotel. And if I needed $100 for food for that time, I could trade that $100 for the food as well. And I was like, wow, like if I don't have to ever spend my money and I can trade, and only once I have the money to afford it, spend it, this could be something incredible. And I basically ended up going around the country, trading everywhere that I stayed, every meal that I ate, until the one day I ended up landing up in near Cape Town. And I got a call. I was staying in my uncle's house. I still wasn't financially there just yet. I was actually staying in my cousin's room on a blow-up mattress, which is quite crazy. And I got the call, come to Cape Town for lunch. And, long story short, I ended up going there. I ended up going to the banter show after, where I met Ron and I met everyone. And somehow I managed to get a conversation with Ron, because my mentor, the person that's still with me today, Craig, he actually called me outside when we were busy watching these guys perform. And he's like, because I've never watched YouTubers, I don't know who they were. And he's like, Sheldon, I have a vision. You need to go on that show. I've seen it. You need to teach. You need to go on the show. And I was like, what are you talking about? I ended up doing a show that Monday, I think with around 30,000 people. Now, remember, guys, I've max spoken to 50 people or 20 people before. Not only just learning myself, like being a couple months in the game, I had 30,000 people that I had to do a show on, which is quite crazy. And, the community loved it. And it was 4 days later that I had a permanent show, and I had to move to Cape Town by myself, completely alone, not knowing anyone in this place, not knowing this game at all. And now speaking to a huge audience. And it's not even 2 years later, and we've got 600,000 subscribers. I'm on a couple of 100,000 on Twitter, and I do a live show every day since. I've now, since that time, moved 90% of every single one of my family members to Cape Town. They all work under me and work with me in this business. I have about 30 to 40% of my friends that are already moved here now, but I've managed to move my whole family and have them be a part of this journey, and none of them stay in that terrible place that we were stuck in for a very long time. So this is why I'm grateful for crypto, and why I inspire you to really learn this place and to be a part of it. It's something beautiful about it that's happening. And yeah, bro, that's it.
Sheldon, that is an insane story. And you know what? That just tells everybody about your character, the perseverance that you have, the things that you did, even though you had some major setbacks. But it just goes to show, if you're determined, you can make anything happen. For me, I definitely have gotten scammed as well. There were, I think you mentioned the MLM type schemes that you came across. I mean, they're prevalent, especially in Asia. I'm based in Taipei here. And
they're so good, bro. They're so good.
Man,
they
package it like
dream. You fall in love.
Exactly. It's a rite of passage in crypto. You got to get scammed. You got to lose money. You have to have an exchange rug you, or a project rug you, or something crazy has to happen for you to kind of get through all the craziness of cryptocurrency. But it is still so worth it. I absolutely love it. I know you do too.
No, it is. It's incredible. Remember, like, everyone wants to make money in the world, and why you? And in order to do that, you gotta jump a few hurdles. But it's worth every hurdle. Like, if I never had those hard drops, I would not survive with money now. So it's worth it. It's like, it's a lesson that helps you when you actually have the money. So be grateful for the hurdles.
Absolutely. Everything serves a purpose. Everything is there to teach you a lesson. So I really resonate with what you've said. I lost my dad as well last year, so I understand what you went through. But it's crazy that you've been on this journey and you found so much success in the last couple of years. So I just have to say, man, really, really proud of you. That is an amazing journey that you have so far. And with that background, I'm really curious, how did you develop this framework that you have today? I know you find a lot of success with trading. I was hoping maybe you can share with the audience some of your thoughts on best practices when it comes to implementing a trading strategy.
Firstly, with your dad, bro, I feel you. Virtual hugs, bro. Let's stay strong. It's one of the biggest things. Money and stuff's incredible, but our loved ones mean everything to us. So big hugs to you, brother. I know it's been a hard ride. Secondly, so when it came to trading, I first realized, I thought it was the TA that was the big skill. Learning how to buy, how to sell, like where to buy and get these good buys. But it was that big yo-yo thing of that, me making $40,000 and losing it. And I basically started to identify that it all comes down to the simple money management and understanding that every cent in your wallet needs a purpose. So the day you have any single dollar in your portfolio that has no purpose, it's going to be treated like that. It's going to be flushed and go fluctuate like that with the market. So I never understood what my money could actually do until one day. And one of the biggest practices is actually taking your money and first being like, what am I doing crypto for? What do I actually want to create? And by me actually identifying that, the first thing I need is I need $1,000 a month. I need a nice little business. Then I do need a car. Then I do need a few little things. And what it ended up being was I can actually take this portfolio and split them into separate businesses. So actually split them and actually give that specific part of your portfolio a plan. Now, the reason why this is so important is because when you have all your money muddled up in one little bunch, you have so many different things to look at. For example, if you are a TA trader, you have so many different time frames, you have so many different indicators, you have so many different things, and that's where it can get quite confusing. So not only do you have money that has no purpose and it's like bundled up to do a bunch of things, you also got everything else that's also just a whole bunch of everything. Until basically I learned that, okay, I need a business that can generate me $1,000 a month. That's priority number one. You have to make a priority list. What is your priority of what you need crypto to do first? The first thing I need to do is be able to give more time to crypto, to give myself where I can actually breathe a bit and I can take time to learn this place. And in order to do that, I need $1,000 a month. Okay. Now, what can I do in order to generate $1,000 a month? And I would basically look at crypto could offer you 3 to 5% a day, or it can offer you 10 to 15% a week, or any of these sort of things. But it basically came down to I would need an $8,000 or $9,000 business to help me more or less generate $1,000 a month. So what I did is I actually simplified everything to be like, what is step one? Step one is to get a business to this size that can generate this. Only once that one is achieved can I then split onto the next business. And what I'm trying to get to, because you'll see with my school and a lot of things that I teach, and it's going to take you a good few days or a good few weeks to understand all these systems. But what I'm trying to get to is you're trying to do everything at once. And that's why it looks so hard and why you're so scared of it and why it's so complicated. When I learned the simplicity that firstly, I never need to ever spend my money, I could trade as I go. And when I learned that I can actually create businesses, and this business can be on one time frame. Now think about it. You have many different time frames on your trading view and many different tools. But what I simplified it for is if I use this one time frame with these two tools on this business, and I run these rules and I do this system every week, the exact same like a robot. That's how that business is run. Okay. Now, for example, if you jump on and you look at TradingView, you have a weekly candles, weekly charts. People don't understand that if you're looking at weekly, it's giving you data for what you can make in the next year. It's giving you a very high time frame sort of view. So if you're looking at a savings or you're looking at something that you don't need to touch, like a business that you're looking to grow over the next year, 2 years, you need to attach it to the right tool, which is your weekly or your monthly chart. That one is beautiful there. Then you want a little business that generates you a couple $50, $100 a day. This must be attached to a 1 hour or a 4 hour chart with these two indicators and these two tools. So as soon as you separate all of them, it actually gives you time to give love to that business and to actually identify how can I get this simple business great? Because you can jump on a 1 hour and it will show you one thing. Then you jump on a 4 hour and it shows you completely different. And then a daily and it shows you different. And that's where the confusing part comes. Crypto may look extremely complicated, but as soon as you take bite size, you actually get a lot more done. So I learned to slow down to speed up in the game. So the biggest things that I would give is first identify what you want out of crypto, identify a roadmap of a priority list on which one you need to start with first. And then with each business, you need to find the simplest way that you can achieve and get that business moved. Now, I even want to blow your minds more. I even have businesses that come to life for a very short period of time. For example, I went on a Switzerland holiday. And with the Switzerland holiday, I was like, it's going to cost me around $20,000. It's not so cheap over there. But I got my family. It's my mom's dream holiday. Amazing. But I'm busy. I have to spend family time. But why can I not trade this? Until I identified and I was like, okay, a 12-hour chart means I would have to take 2 trades for the whole of the holiday. So it gives me time. It allows me to not sit on the computer the whole time. And it gives me the range that I can do to make that trade. And I ended up making around about 13,000. So I never made the full 20,000, but I made 13,000, which covered about 65% of the trip, which is incredible. When I was done the trip, that business stopped. It went straight back into my wallet until I need that $10,000 or $20,000 again. I can open it again. So the fact that I could create a business just for 2 weeks, just to generate what I needed for that 2 weeks, and then I could stop it, just showed the power of this game. Some businesses can run every month to generate your income. Some can just come for a car and then can stop. Some can be something that recurs over the next 3 to 5 years. That's the beauty of crypto, that you're able to learn all these beautiful money skills and learn the power that it can come when it needs to be, because it does not sleep. And if you really want it, that's what I loved about crypto. It's like you telling me I have $400, but you never sleep. And if I really want this, I can make it happen. I'll stay up all the time. Like the fact that it gave me a chance is what I loved about crypto, that I could try, because I can't get a job in this country. Being at 20 something, I can't just go get a job. It's so hard to get work. But with crypto, if I really wanted it and I really wanted to get good, I actually had a chance.
I love that, man. Essentially, you want to start with the end in sight and work backwards. What is it that you're really trying to work towards? What is that end goal? And then you can backtrack to figure that out. And I love what you said, compartmentalizing everything, having a good structure, essentially making little improvements, learning daily. Atomic Habit talks about this, right? If you improve 1%, just 1% every single day, and you look at it for a year, that really compounds. Like everything is a hockey stick, right? So I love those incredible insights. Now, I do wanted to ask you, if you were to start over, let's just say you got wiped out again and you actually don't even have Crypto Banter to really be there for you. How would you approach trading if you had to start completely over?
So the first thing was every cent needs a purpose. I think that's step number one. But secondly, it's a trading journal. And what I would do previously was I was blind all the time and I would repeat many mistakes, many of them. I never captured my data. And I like to look at myself as a robot in this game because I want to be. It's my own business. And we know any businesses and companies out there, if they got good structure and good staff and things like that, they run smoothly. And I look at this as the same thing is I sort of jump to step 3 before getting step 1 and 2 done. And the way you do that is you have a market that's evolving, right? It's not the same market tomorrow. It's not going to be the same market in 2 weeks. It's expanding. It's basically always shifting and moving at different times. And you have to evolve with it. And what I would do very differently is I would work a lot more with the trading journal and actually track what I am doing a lot more often and also track what the market is doing. So for example, if you had to ask me about Bitcoin right now, I know what Bitcoin offers me. It offers me 38 trades on the 1 hour chart a month in the region of 2 to 3% per trade. Okay. The 4 hour will offer me 12 trades per month, offering between a 6 to a 7% per trade. Okay. This is current. So what I do is I actually track all the data of what every time frame and what every coin is offering me per month. And ever since I discovered this, that I am updating these things once a week, takes me half an hour to 40 minutes just to see what the market's doing. I'm keeping track with the market. Then what I'm doing secondly is if I'm trading on the 4 hour or on any of the time frames, I'm tracking my own performance, looking at where my entries, where my exits were, looking at my winnings, looking at my losses, and looking at my lessons when I won and when I lost, for me to monitor it and be like, you're repeating the same mistake. You're doing the same thing here. You're always putting your stop loss too low. You're always putting your TPs too high. All these little things. So the only thing that I would do differently is I would slow down. I would first set my foundations in play. I would use the trading journal to understand how good I am right now so that I can build a rule system that protects me against my strengths and protects me against my weaknesses. And I'll stay current with the market. And by doing that, you speed up so much. So I wouldn't put so much pressure on myself. But that's about it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
TA is easy, bro. Like actual skills are buying. That's not the hard part. It's that like greed. That's that one that tells you hold longer. Instead of the Lamborghini, let's get the Bugatti. That voice. That's the hard part, bro.
Human psychology. That all the natural things that we all have in our brains. The greed. All of that. That is definitely a huge part of it. I like what you said, documenting everything, learning constantly, try to quantify everything that's in front of you so that you have the data to try to improve as well. I think that is a huge key takeaway that I got from you. Definitely a good strategy to have. Of course, in the past, you've said the TA, the technical analysis, is only 10% of the success. The rest, you did say, comes from structure, rule systems, and discipline. I was hoping maybe you can elaborate some of those things for our audience.
Yes. So the first one that I would jump on is definitely the discipline. So sometimes there is no trade. And I think it drives people mad that I've been wanting to buy Bitcoin the whole night and I went to go sleep and I woke up the next morning and it was no longer in my buy zone. It was gone, which tends to get them to, you know what, I'm just going to buy now. And it's many different things. So discipline is probably one of the biggest one, and for me, it's the hardest thing ever, but I have to wait. If I don't have 5 of my indicators all ticking a green box, I am not allowed to take the trade. And if I choose to take the trade, I always return back to that rule system because the market kicks my butt. The market just is, and it doesn't matter how many times we try to outsmart it. So for me, it's definitely the discipline of having this simple system. And if you've missed it, you've missed it. Sometimes the best trade is no trade. I'm sure the whole world wants to FOMO into Bitcoin right now, but you missed the Bitcoin pump for now. There is another entry. There is another good time for you to buy, but you've missed the pump. And people that don't understand that. So that's the big one. The structure, again, for me, is non-compounding, which is really important. If a business is there to make me $1,000 a month, it makes me $1,000 a month and that's it. If I want to create another business or something else that creates me more money to go buy food or to go buy extra things, I'm allowed to do so, but it needs to have a purpose. Like people compound. And when they compound, you end up putting your basket bigger and bigger and bigger till the one day you make a mistake. And I want to sit here and tell you, you're allowed to make mistakes. And the problem with compounding is that one mistake wipes your last 6 months sort of work. So, it's just understanding what the purpose of that business is and the structure of it, rule systems, trading journals, tools, TA, these are all things that fall really big. To get buys, I can give you one indicator, one simple indicator that will help you to buy and sell in this market. It's more you from not trying to be smarter. When that thing tells you to buy, your head's going to tell you, no, it's going to go more. And it's your structure and your rule system that has to step in there and fix that. So actual buying and selling is very easy in the market, and actually doing that. It's more the mentality of not getting too greedy or fearful and knowing when to stop. If you've won 3 times in a row, take a break. If you've lost 3 times in a row, take a break. This market's going to try to get you addicted. It is designed to do so. It's designed to bring that addiction side out in all of us. So the structure just stops you from that and protects you. Don't fight with yourself anymore and say, it's me, it's me, it's me. Learn to work with yourself rather than fighting yourself, and understand that the market, it's there to do that to you. You just got to work with it instead of just fighting with yourself. So yes, 10% TA, bro. The rest is all the mental game and the structure and how much you try to protect your business, to protect what you're building here.
I love that. Sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing. I've learned that the hard way as well. Absolutely. Sometimes
did you get this pump?
This pump I did, yes. But
nice.
There are other pumps where I didn't. So, everything is a lesson learned. Everything's a lesson learned. You did mention the 5 boxes needs to all be ticked. I was hoping perhaps you can share with us what those are.
Sure. So for me, TA wise, obviously you'd have to have slight understanding of TA, but for me, very much simple. RSI needs to be reset. Okay, it's an indicator we use for technical analysis, and it teaches you to basically buy the red and buy a market that's oversold. So meaning that there's been some selling pressure, and it's always good to get into the mentality and the understanding of buying red and selling green. That's rule number 1. Just understanding. Don't FOMO into the pumps and don't panic into the dumps either. Secondly, for that, so I'm just going to give you mine, and obviously as you do school and you do things, you'll understand a bit more. It's RSI. I need to buy on support. So I need to buy on a level which makes sense on where it's going to buy, where it bounced previously, which is a really big understanding. I need to also buy on a support trend, something that's showing me if I'm buying, I need to make sure the market is going up and it's in an upwards momentum. So meaning I need to have a trend that's tracking that momentum. And when it comes down to test that momentum and holds that momentum and my RSI is reset and I have a horizontal support that it's holding, that ticks the box now that we're holding that level. It is safe to then enter. Then what I have is another trend line that's tracking it coming down. And if we break that, what is a trend line? It's a line that tracks trend. So if I see it's coming down to test an important level where I wanted to hold and it breaks my trend line coming down, it's showing me momentum was coming down, they were selling, but all of a sudden the bulls are replying and the market's going to change something. It's going to change trend. And if I break that trend, for me now, that is my time to then trigger. And then my last box, the most important box, is risk to reward. Is my risk low and is my reward high where I'm buying right now? So for example, Bitcoin just went from 17,000 to 23,000 right now, okay? And it has a possibility to go to 30. But it also has the possibility to go back to 18. So meaning if you buy at 23,000 right now, you have the possibility to go back to 18,000, or you have the reward, which can get to 30,000. For me, it's getting to a point where it's nearly 50-50. And the way you want it in trading is you want it to be like this. You want this to be the reward, and you want this to be the risk. And that gives you ability to understand that you can hit stop losses and you can take 5 multiple losses in a row, and 2 successful trades makes you double what you lost and way above into profits. So as long as my risk to reward and my risk is low and it makes sense for me for the trade. And I'll give you a little example of 1 to 5 risk to reward. If my reward is 5 times bigger than what I could lose in that trade, it's worthy of me taking the trade.
Wow. You heard it here first. And it's just some incredible insights. Anybody who's out there trying to learn trading, Sheldon is definitely the right guy to look into. I know he's got a ton of great content that's out there teaching you a bunch of incredible insights. But hey, thank you for sharing with us at
Okay,
Bitget.
bro.
I know a lot of people are definitely very intrigued and want to have more of that discipline, as you said. So those are all great things to be on the lookout. Before, you mentioned you've gotten scammed, you've lost money.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important key to touch on, because everybody inevitably will have these experiences in crypto, like I mentioned. I was hoping perhaps you can share with us some of the biggest lessons you learned from these experiences.
Never accept money. Like, that's the big thing. And we have tons of scammers. There's like so many Sheldon the snipers out there. Give me your money, I'll trade for you, and all these sort of things. So it taught me that no one's going to save me. That was the biggest lesson that I learned from the scams. No one's going to save me but me. As much as I want someone else to do it for me, as much as I want something else to make me that money, I got to learn the skill. I got to be boss of these sort of things. And then I also realized that, wow, okay, it does take a lot of responsibility, and it takes a lot of structure for me to be my own boss. So I'm not too sure what are the big lessons that I've learned from being scammed, but it just convinced me again that I need to be the person that makes this happen. And I'm so grateful, because I can lose Banter tomorrow. I can lose the stuff tomorrow. I still know how to trade. And for me, that's the beautiful part. I can survive. I can make it happen again. Like, that's really cool.
Absolutely. And you've learned a lot of great lessons being with Crypto Banter. And I'm sure if everything went to dust, I'm sure you can build your own community with ease now. You've gone through it, but trading's the same. I think any skill set in the world is all the same, right? Once you kind of dive in, you achieve that discipline, you have a hunger for learning, constantly improving, and the world is your oyster. So absolutely love that.
And get yourself out there. Like, get to the conferences, get yourself all over the place. Like, get yourself, crypto people are cool. They're all there for the same goal. Like, they all, like, you'll love it when you go there. Like, you just make so many friends and connections, and because they're all there for this like new life-changing moments and all this new technology. So get out there. You want to make money, be around money. Like, it's very simple. Like, don't be afraid. If you're going to take the step in being crypto, by me sitting with Run every day, and I'm going to give a quick shout out to Run, because this man's mentality and the way he thinks and the way he builds things has just taken myself to a whole nother level, because I'm surrounded by it every single day. And if I never came to Cape Town and I never got out of the city, it would never have happened. So please use what crypto is giving right now and go around and go to all these conferences, any ones that are nearby or anything. Like, just get yourself out there. You'll be very shocked who you meet and how quickly things can come your way.
I couldn't agree more. And if the opportunity presents itself, I'd love to have a drink with you as well, my friend.
Bro, I'm on. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I love it. Always happy to chat with crypto people. We're definitely all like-minded. We believe in this technology. Of course, a great way to make money, but I think even more special, great way to meet friends, especially now with the internet age. You know, we can do this when we're opposite ends of the world. It's fantastic. I do have one question for you. What are some of the biggest common mistakes that you see a lot of traders make when they perhaps first get in, or even more the experienced traders?
Yeah, so they trade a bunch of terrible small cap coins when they have no experience in the game just yet. So their risk is like incredible. You know, I've seen so many people that would take 90% of their lifetime savings and just put it into a coin that their cousin told them to buy, which is crazy. So, you know, the biggest mistake with newbies and that is they have no idea how to control risk, and they allow the money to flow out very easily. And, you know, they end up chasing these pumps. I'm sure everyone right now, if I look at crypto bubbles at the moment, I'm sure everyone at the moment is looking to buy Render, Render's up 92% this week, AVAX, DYDX. Like, I'm sure everyone right now is sitting here and like, we want to buy these tokens. So that is obviously a really big lesson that I need to teach people. Secondly, no stop losses. Huge one. They're just entering, no stop, no protecting of risk at all, and not even knowing where they're going to take profits. That's a big one. You know, they never know what they're trading it for, and that's why they end up never taking profits. I actually did it the other day. I had to take a trade, and you know, I ended up taking the trade and making 15% profit. That token did 200% after that, after I took profits already. And I still fought with myself, and I was still very angry with myself, but I needed to understand that I needed one job from that token. I needed it to get me from A to be, and that's all that I needed. Whatever happened on top of that happened, you know. And people will take that quite offensively, and they'll take it quite like they'll get really upset with themselves that, you see, I told you you should have held it longer, I told you these sort of things. But you needed to understand that that job was only for that, And now you can move on to the next one to get you there. So it's more just having the understanding of what that trade actually is there for, and keeping to that strategy of stop loss and TPs and structures with them.
You're absolutely spot on. I've been in crypto for 4 or 5 years now, and a lot of friends who don't really know crypto, and they know that I'm in crypto, but they always ask me, oh, what should I do? And I always say, listen, before you do anything else, just understand Bitcoin. Just understand Bitcoin first. It is the mother of all. Understand that, wrap your head around that. That in itself is a rabbit hole that you really have to dive in and thoroughly understand before you can look at these other obscure tokens. Obviously, Ethereum with smart contract functionalities, those are things you really have to learn first, wrap your head around that, and trade those. Get in the game. Just dip your toes in, buy some, hodl some, trade some, do what you want to do. But those are definitely the tokens to really try out first before you get into these insanely volatile, lose all your savings type tokens. So
exactly.
I couldn't agree more with you there.
No, it's very true. Start with step one. And also just remember, I think people, they struggle with this. They think the market's not going to be there tomorrow. They think that if this trade, they miss this trade, they think it's never going to do it again. Like, you have time. That's a huge one. I was so angry and I missed the trade. I'm like, oh, you see, I knew it. 3 days later, it offers you the same trade. It's a big one. And it's just like, breathe. It's okay. You got time. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And when things started crashing last year, a lot of my friends were like, oh, that's it for crypto, right? It's over. It's game over. What are you still doing with your life?
Exactly.
That's not really how it works, man. Everything works in cycles. You have to be able to suffer through these insane losses for you to really appreciate when everything is up in the moon. You just have to understand human psychology, and that when you think one thing, do the opposite, because the rest of the crowd is thinking one direction. You just have to do the opposite.
It's very true. And I think just to touch on something else as well is, guys, have some sort of trading buddy, like trading buddy or someone. And the only way, if you don't know anyone in the space, like, is to get yourself out there on some trading groups or something. Have 1 or 2 trading buddies. I promise you it makes a huge difference. And the reason being is, I actually had a buddy, and I'm going to tell you a quick story on it. He bought an NFT, right? And he ended up buying for $3,000. He bought 90 of these NFTs. And these NFTs are now worth 1 Ethereum. So he made 90 Ethereum. And you know what he told me? He's like, they're going to go 10% more. And I'm like, okay, bro, you've just made you just did like $200,000. You're talking about another $15,000. He's like, they're going to go 10% more to my plan. And I could see how he's so stuck in that money zone right now that he can't see, like, you're 98% there, bro. Like, get out right now. Like, end it, cut it. And for him, it's like, no, it's going to go 10 more percent. And then I can pull it. And what was beautiful about that is I'm not in the trade. I never took it, okay? I can sit there, and I've been hounding him the whole day to do it. And eventually he started doing now, to the point of where I got the whole of Crypto Banter office to actually message him. Sell your NFT, sell your NFT. Like, I went into this mode. And what it taught me was, because he did that for me a few months ago when I was in that zone where I wasn't going to sell. And if it wasn't for him, I would have thrown so much away, because he wasn't in the same trade as me, and he helped me to get me out of that zone where we get stuck in when it's a bull market or you're making a lot of money. And I'm being the same for him. And that's exactly what having this community is you help pick them up, they help pick you up through these journeys. Whenever you are going into over trading, wherever you're going to things like that, your trading buddies and trading community help you with that. And even times I'm having a bad run where I'm sucking right now with the charts and I'm not getting my trades right, my buddy can be doing well. And what's nice about that is I just then go and I follow him for that week, where I just get my breather again. And then next week he sucks and I'm doing amazing, and then he follows me. And it just takes a little bit of pressure off yourself. So find yourself some people in the game and spend time with them, have some Zooms with them, trade on the side with them. It makes your job a lot easier. It's really important.
That's a great tip. It's much like having an accountability partner,
Exactly.
Somebody that can keep you in check, keep you in line. I think that goes for more than just trading, but I think that is such an important thing to have. I guess that's something I've actually neglected. That's a good point. I'm going to go and get myself one of those buddies.
Good. For example, 2 days ago, I entered a trade and I put no stop loss, to where my mother, Mama Sniper, she logged in and she put a stop loss in without me knowing. Like, that's how tight
awesome.
It gets. You know what I mean? The day I made a mistake, I didn't even have to but she naturally was looking and put a stop loss in place for me. And guess what? We got stopped and the coin went down 15% lower than that. Like
Wow.
that's the beauty. That's the great part.
Amazing. Well,
Yes.
hey, that also goes to show that whatever your educational method is, it's working because your mom knows how to do a stop loss in crypto. How many moms can comfortably say they know that skill? Not many. So
Dude, my
that's
mother
pretty
trades
cool.
leverage, bro. My
Oh
mother's a
man.
full degen leverage trader that makes herself between $10,000 to $20,000 a month herself
Wow.
off of
That's
trading. Like,
incredible.
it's incredible, bro. Truly
Incredible.
inspiring. And women are actually better than men. I don't know how to say it, but it's weird. But women have more patience in this game than men. Men are like,
I
let's go, let's go, let's
no
go. Women have like a more like calmness to them. So try finding like a woman buddy as well. They help a lot, I promise.
100%. I concur with that statement. I'm curious, what are some of the elements? Obviously, your mom, leverage trades and does a lot of trading. I was curious, what kind of elements do you guys look for when you look for a crypto exchange to use? What are some of the things that really attract you to use any sort of platform out there?
So this is where I have a massive shout out for Bitget. Is obviously the simplicity is huge. So I like a simple dashboard that's easy. That as I've taken a position, I'm able to set stop loss, TPs, and these sort of things before I even take the position. Like that, I love very much. Secondly, is volume. If I need to market execute in or out pretty quickly as emergency buy, emergency sell, I would like my order to be filled. Quite a bit. I don't know if Bitget still offer it, but I see they do. I love the demo account. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Like many exchanges don't have that. And for me, that's such a beautiful way for you to get into the game and actually dip your toes. I still always believe you have to have real skin in the game to have the emotion attachment, to see what it does to you emotionally. But the fact that you can go and practice and learn all the basic features and things like that is really big. So for me, it's mainly volume and mainly a very easy to use, that I can get to things pretty quickly, which makes a huge difference when you're speed trading, especially being able to chart on there. Sometimes I don't want to have to jump to trading view and do these things and like many things. So the fact that you can chart there too is incredible. And obviously the amount of tokens, like I want a good variety of tokens and things like that. But yeah, that's about it. But I love like Bitget for me is my top. Like I trade with it very often, and I love Bitget just because like the simplicity. I love your guys when we open the positions, how you have so much detail. Like you actually thought it out and you give everything that's needed, and it's simple to understand. It's important to see all those things and you have it all in one place. It's not like many other exchanges I have to go find and like things like that. Bitget's really amazing. It kind of feels like you guys really put yourself into a user's shoes. It wasn't just about creating a platform. Like you really put yourself in that spot of like what a person really is looking for and what can make their life a lot easier. And yeah, big shout out to Bitget. Massive. I enjoyed very much.
Thank you. Those are very kind words. We definitely try to put users first. We really try to look from their viewpoint. What is it that is important for them? Of course, you said that dipping your toes in is really critical. Going off on that, I was hoping perhaps you can share with our audience dipping your toes as a beginner. Do you have any sort of suggestions for these beginners to maybe find a good strategy for them to beat the current market conditions?
So yeah, so the first thing you do have to do is be like, I'm entering a brand new game right now. And the same way you go to college and you go to university and things like this, you pay for that, right? And you can pay up to what, $50,000 or $20,000 for this education. And the difference here is you have the choice to pay for your education here. That's the difference in crypto. Now, some people don't know that, so they decide to put their savings in and things like that to learn. Like they would put so much money in when they've just come into the game. At the end of the day, you're probably going to lose a lot of their money because that's the lessons you're going to pay for that game. So for me, it's school fees money. It's saying that I'm going to become a badass at crypto and become really good, and it's going to cost me $500 or $100 to learn that skill. Very important. So give yourself a part of your portfolio that you are allowed to lose some of it. You are allowed to get stopped out. You are allowed to make mistakes. It's your school fees money. It's something that's going to teach you the skill. And only once you have gotten a certain amount, 3 out of 5 trades right, or 5 out of 10, like it's still you've started getting some momentum in the game, then you start dipping in capital that actually means something to you and something that you actually want to grow. So say to yourself right now, I want to learn this game. I'm giving myself this amount of time to do so, and I'm giving myself this much school fees. And the day I achieve step 1 of getting my school fees account to this size is the day that I can start actually playing with money that I really have purpose for and something that I really want to create of. And until you've achieved that step, you're not allowed to put any of the money and stuff. The market's not going anywhere. You still have years to succeed in this place. Remember, it takes skill and it takes understanding to get your school fees account from $500 to $1,000. It's going to take a bit of work to get it there. And that's why I'm never afraid of, if you do get it there, now it's time that you can actually start putting some real money in the game, because it's going to make it quite tricky to get there. But now you're going to learn stop losses. I want you to get stopped out. I want you to not even put a stop loss the one night and get completely smashed. Like, it sounds terrible. This is why it's school fees. Like, I want you to feel and understand what this game does, so that when you finally put real money in, and money that you can't afford to lose, that you don't make those silly mistakes. It's such a crucial thing to understand. And it's the same with the winning too. I want you to see the potential of this. I want you to see how magnificent and how incredible this market can just push your life and like just take you to a whole nother level. I want you to see the other side of the coin too, that there's no market in the world that offers what crypto does for you. And there's no speed that it can change your life like crypto. I just experience it now, from $400 to multi-millions of dollars in 3 years. And yes, I became a show presenter and I do these things, but where else? There's not many opportunities that could allow it. And I was at a point even before Crypto Banter where I was making an incredible amount of money doing this, like a good amount for me, especially at that time, by myself within 9 months. I started on Crypto Banter when I had 9 months experience. 9 or 10 months experience. It was absolutely insane. Like, where else?
It's crazy how life happens. Those lessons that you mentioned, I think when you do suffer a big loss, those are the best lessons you can learn. I think monetary or not, anything in life, when you suffer these massive loss, those are really the biggest lessons that stay with you for the longest time. So yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely agree.
Just don't lose it on your most valuable money. Like, that's what I'm trying to teach you. You don't have your whole life in there when you take that loss, because that sucks. That really hurts. And then, like you said, you've been scammed. You know exactly that feeling.
I wanted to ask you, how do you look at portfolio allocation? Of course, recently we've been pumping. What are you buying these days? I'm sure a lot of people want to know.
So for me, I'm still sitting at this point of going too risky at the moment. So I'm still very much one token that I've shifted a lot more is Ethereum, definitely a lot more. I actually have more Ethereum than Bitcoin right now. I think proof of stake and everything that's happened, with Ethereum, I just think the longevity is just incredible and the growth. So a lot more Ethereum and Bitcoin. And then I have quite a bit of multiple plays. I actually have 2 in the gaming industry. I love Gala Games. I love Vulcan Forge. These are 2 great ones that I like. I got a few smart contract tokens. I have a few DeFi tokens. So not more than 10 tokens at the moment. So for me, it's just like, there's so many people fighting for the pie. And I believe there's many use cases that crypto is going to offer. So I just started to choose the more or less biggest ones that are in each division right now. And when the market gets back to 30,000 and gets back to these levels of where it really breaks out, then it's time to start more risk. And basically your portfolio must do something like this. When it goes into bear market and to really down territory, it comes down. Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT. And then as it starts opening up like this, your portfolio starts opening. Okay, bit of Cardano, bit of Chainlink, bit of Polkadot. You start getting some major altcoins. And then it starts going, and you start getting to a few small caps and things like that. And then it basically contracts. And you got to understand that you have to have this understanding that your portfolio needs to be doing this. A lot of people open their portfolio and then it never closes. Because it never closes, you go through the whole market cycle and you soon understand that these smaller caps and stuff, they fall 99.9%. They can literally take your money from $1 million to $10,000. These things start to basically happen. So yeah, there's many tokens, bro. But what I love about TA is I trade the token that's offering me the percentage that I need for the week. And as long as it's not a small cap like that, that's great. But any token that offers me what I need to get from plan A to plan B is the one that I trade. That's what I love about TA. Problem is about holding tokens. You fall in love with them and then you never sell them. And I've held tokens for just way too long. Tokens that made me complete millionaire to bringing all the way back down. Luna was a perfect example. I know many people are like, too soon, Sheldon, too soon. I know. It was a really hard time for all of us, but that's exactly why I love TA. TA, the chart actually told you that Luna on the monthly, the RSI was way at the top. And I was quite lucky that I had 0 Luna by the time the crash happened. I had a few ecosystem coins where I took a hit, but other than that, I didn't. And that's what I love about TA. TA tells you a story without actually understanding what it is. It just tells you if it's overbought or oversold. And that's a huge thing for you to understand without knowing exactly what it is and how it's going to change your life and how it's going to change your world. Now, then you end up falling in love and never actually selling, or your ego kicks in and holds these things. Whatever the market's offering me is what I trade.
Never get married to a token. Again, it comes down to discipline. Everything that you're mentioning, it all falls into the category of being disciplined. If you're looking at the TA at a certain price point, you really got to take your profits. At a certain price points, that's when you buy in. Those are the things you really have to pay attention to. So I really love these observations, Sheldon. Really want to just say, yeah, man, really just want to say it's amazing to have you here. Is there any last remarks you would like to say to our audience?
The last thing I want to say is just like, do me a favor and join us on this journey. And when you get it right, because I know you're going to get it right, just share the love, share it with people, and just make a huge success. You're learning something that you have for life. You can go to sleep every night knowing that you have the skill. And the fact that you have the skill, you'll always be okay. So don't quit, don't give up. The market is hard. It does try to fool you at times. Just surround yourself with good, positive people and keep that determination in your head every day. I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. Never stop thinking it. And I promise you, one day happens and you look like this and your whole world's going to flip around and it's all going to be worth it. So I got your back. I believe in every single one of you, and keep going. Make it happen.
I love that. I still want to just say hats off to you, man. A lot of stuff that you document online, you've really opened yourself up to the world. And because of that, I really find you to be a very genuine person. I think you come from a very good place in your heart. You really want to help people. I just wanted to say thank you again for coming on. Guys, if you haven't already, go check out Crypto Banter. They have amazing content there. Make sure you help us hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And pay close attention to our socials. We have a lot more new things, awesome things coming to you. So be on the lookout. And with that, Sheldon, thank you again.
Thank you, brother. Smash the like button, guys. Smash it, smash
Let's
it,
go.
smash it. We work really hard, and I promise you, we will just keep sharing the love. But hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow all the social medias, and we'll see you all at the top. Thank you, brother.
See you guys.
Cheers,
bye.
brother. Ciao.